No one expected this to happen. Not after everything that had been said, not after the rumors, not after the tension that fans believed had existed for months. But early this morning, when the hospital hallway was quiet and the air was thick with worry, something unbelievable happened. Wang Yibo's parents, the very people many fans thought would never appear, finally walked into the hospital. And what happened inside that room left every witness frozen. It started with a sudden hush outside his ward. Nurses whispered, security stepped aside, and fans waiting downstairs began texting rapidly as word spread, "They're here." The elevator doors opened slowly, and out stepped his mother and father, both looking exhausted, shaken, and carrying an emotion no one had seen on their faces before: fear. Real fear. His mother clutched her bag tightly, and his father walked slightly behind her, his step stiff, as if every movement carried the weight of guilt and memories. They didn't speak to anyone. They didn't greet anyone. They only asked for one thing: "Where is our son?" That one sentence alone made several nurses turn away, holding back tears. Because for the past few days, everyone had wondered if they would come at all. Inside the room, Wang Yibo lay asleep, still recovering, the medical machines quietly beeping beside him. His face looked pale, fragile, nothing like the strong and confident performer fans see on stage. His mother stepped forward first, and the moment she saw him lying there, her knees almost gave out. She pressed a hand to her mouth, tears immediately filling her eyes. His father froze in the doorway, gripping the doorframe, as if the sight of his son so vulnerable hit him harder than he ever imagined. For a long moment, there was only silence. A heavy, emotional silence that filled the room like a storm waiting to break. Then, his mother whispered his name, Yibo, in a voice so soft and trembling that even the nurses standing outside felt it. The room felt smaller now, but not because of the machines or the walls or the wires. It felt smaller because everything unspoken between them was suddenly there, standing in the space no one knew how to cross. Wang Yibo's fingers were still lightly touching his parents' hands, as if he wasn't sure whether to hold on or pull away. He swallowed, his throat dry, his voice barely more than a whisper when he finally spoke. "I didn't think you'd come." His mother's face crumpled at those words. "How could we not come?" she choked out. "You're our son." His father closed his eyes briefly, as if the sentence hurt him deeply. "We were stubborn," he admitted, each word sounding like it cost him something. "We thought we were doing what was best. We thought, if we pushed you, you'd be stronger. Work harder. Prove yourself. We didn't realize you were already doing more than anyone should." Yibo's gaze dropped to the blanket over his legs. His fingers twisted the edge of the fabric. "There were days," he said quietly, "when I wished you would just call. Not to talk about work. Not to ask about ratings or schedules. Just to ask if I was okay." His mother broke completely at that. Tears streamed down her face as she shook her head, guilt pouring out of her. "We failed you," she whispered. "We thought showing worry would make you doubt yourself. We thought being strict would keep you from breaking. But you still broke, and we weren't there." His father shifted, clearly uncomfortable with his own emotions, but he didn't look away this time. "I saw the news," he said in a rough voice. "I saw the photos. You, on the stretcher. You, unconscious. They were replaying the footage over and over on TV. And I realized, if something had happened to you, the last real conversation we had was an argument." The word hung in the air like a wound that hadn't healed. Yibo blinked slowly, remembering it now, raised voices, frustrated words, his father accusing him of overworking himself. The entire room froze the moment Wang Yibo's parents stepped through the door. No one expected them to arrive this late, and certainly not with the expression they wore, fear mixed with regret, shock mixed with something deeper, something heavy that no one could name. Xiao Xan, who had been sitting beside Yibo's bed, rose instinctively. His fingers trembled slightly, not from fear, but from all the emotions he had been holding inside since the incident happened. Yibo's father walked in first, stiff, trying to maintain his usual strict composure, while his mother clutched her bag so tightly it seemed her knuckles might burst. She moved slowly, her eyes glued to her son lying unconscious on the hospital bed with wires and monitors beeping softly in the background. It was as if the world around her disappeared, and all she could hear was the faint sound of her son's heartbeat. Then it happened, her legs gave out. She fell to the floor, trembling, covering her mouth as a cry escaped her. The sound tore through the room like lightning. Yibo's father rushed forward to hold her, but even he could not hide the shattering pain in his eyes. The man who always demanded perfection, the man who rarely showed emotion, now stood there with tears slipping down before he even realized they were falling. Xiao Xan's breathing hitched. He had never seen them like this. He had always believed they didn't care, believed they pushed Yibo too hard, believed they never stopped to see the burden they placed on their son. But right now, in this moment, there was no strictness, no expectations, no pride. Only fear. Only love. Only a desperate hope that they weren't too late. Yibo's mother slowly rose to her feet and moved closer to the bed. She reached out with shaking fingers, brushing her son's hair. Her voice came out broken, fragile, completely defeated. "Yibo, my baby, what have we done to you?" The words sliced through Xiao Xan like a blade. He had wanted to be angry at them. The room settled into a heavy silence after Wang Yibo opened his eyes, but the emotional storm was far from over. His mother held onto his hand as if it were the only lifeline she had left, whispering words she had been too afraid to say for years. His father stood at the foot of the bed, trying to steady himself, but his trembling hands betrayed how deeply shaken he was. For Yibo, waking up felt like rising from a deep ocean. Everything was blurry, the lights too bright, the voices around him echoing at a distance. But even in his weakness, he could sense the tension in the room, the fear, the regret, the love that had been buried under years of silence. Xiao Xan wiped his eyes quickly before Yibo could notice the tears that had already fallen. He didn't want Yibo waking up to more worry. He wanted him to wake up to strength, warmth, and reassurance. But Yibo saw everything anyway. His gaze moved slowly from his mother's tear-stained face to his father's stiff posture, and finally rested on Xiao Xan, whose expression carried the weight of sleepless nights and silent prayers. A faint smile, fragile and fleeting, crossed Yibo's lips. It wasn't much, but to everyone in that room, it was everything. His mother leaned closer, brushing his hair gently. "Yibo, can you hear me? Do you know where you are?" Yibo's voice came out hoarse, almost non-existent. "Hospital." She nodded rapidly, crying harder. "Yes, baby. You scared us so much. You scared all of us." Yibo blinked slowly, trying to piece together what happened, but his energy faded quickly. His father stepped forward, clearing his throat, though his voice cracked anyway. "Yibo, you don't have to speak. Just rest. We're here now." Those last words felt heavy. They carried guilt. They carried a promise. They carried an apology he wasn't strong enough to express. Xiao Xan watched the exchange silently, his heart twisting. He knew how much Yibo longed for this, acknowledgement, support, a simple moment of warmth. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If this story touched your heart the way it touched millions of fans, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you won't miss the next update. This story is still unfolding, and there is so much more to reveal. What do you think will happen next? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I'm reading everything. Stay safe, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next video.